This is a CBS News special report. I'm Anthony Mason in New York. President Trump is about to make some remarks from Corpus Christi, Texas. He and several members of his cabinet flew there this morning to observe the federal government's response to Harvey, which has been punishing the Gulf Coast of Texas since Friday, of course. Some locations are reporting nearly 4 feet of rain, with more, of course, on the way. As Harvey re-strengthens over the Gulf, thousands have been rescued from the floodwaters by local police, the Coast Guard, and private citizens who've mobilized. The shelters are filling up. The main shelter in Houston was at nearly double its capacity last night. The president right now is meeting with state and local officials, while in Corpus Christi, Governor Abbott is speaking right now.
What do you need? How can we help? You can count on us. What I've learned is we can count on the President of the United States and his staff for helping Texas. Texas has been tested, but our response to this challenge has been made much more effective because of the very effective way the President and his staff has helped Texas respond to this challenge. So, Mr. President,
thank you.
Thank you. Welcome to Texas.
I appreciate it. It's so nice, Governor, and it's really my honor. This is a very special place of a special state, and Senator Cruz and Senator Cornyn, thank you very much, Senator Cornyn, for being here. We appreciate it. I know it's hard to get here for both of you. You were trapped in various locations, but we appreciate you both being here. I want to thank my staff, my cabinet. We have quite a few of our cabinet here. You know, Ben Carson, obviously, from HUD, and Tom Price, and Linda McMahon, small business, which is now big business, because you're going to be, when you add them all up, you're going to be helping a lot of the people in Texas and doing a fantastic job. Thank you very much, Linda. But we have had a tremendous group of folks. Our acting director, Elaine, thank you very much for the job you've done. And a man who's really become very famous on television over the last couple of days, Mr. Long. We appreciate it very much. You have been just outstanding. And I can tell you that my folks just telling me how great your representatives have been in working together. It's a real team. And we want to do it better than ever before. We want to be looked at in 5 years and 10 years from now as this is the way to do it. This was of epic proportion. Nobody's ever seen anything like this. And I just want to say that working with the governor and his entire team has been an honor for us. So, Governor, again, thank you very much. And we won't say congratulations. We don't want to do that. You know, we don't want to congratulate. We'll congratulate each other when it's all finished. But you have been terrific, really terrific. Great honor. And you've been my friend here for a long time. And with that, maybe you could say a few words.
Thank you, Mr. President. So the whole community is coming together. You know, right here where the brunt of the Category 4 hurricane winds came in just north of Corpus Christi, we're already starting to affect recovery. Recovery is a slow process, but rest assured that we're doing everything we can to unify our efforts down to support, you know, the local responders, the first responders that we have here. Yesterday I put eyes on the ground down in Rockport. We already have points of distribution flowing. We're working in conjunction with the Governor's National Guard, where FEMA's supplying meals and water, and the National Guard is helping to run those distribution points. That's how this system works. While all eyes are on Houston, and so are mine, we've got a long way to go. We're going to have to set up expectations of the citizens, and we're going to have to continue a unified effort down to help the state of Texas ultimately recover. So very quickly, the objectives stay the same. The event, unfortunately, to the north of us is not over. We're still in a life-saving, life-sustaining mission. We're very aware of the issues at the convention center, but let me be clear. This is not the Superdome. The convention center, we are sustaining food. They have food. We're in security. I have an incident management team inside the city of Houston as we speak. And more people are being moved to shelters to stabilize the situation. The next thing is that we're pushing commodities. Once the water goes down, we'll continue to push not only commodities, but also help to get people registered in the system to receive assistance from all of us. You know, assistance doesn't just come from FEMA. It comes from many organizations who are represented here today by Secretary Price, Secretary Carson, and others. The next thing is that we're looking at, you know, power restoration. We're maintaining security. You know, Ms. Duke, you know, mobilized the Homeland Security Surge Capacity Force. With that comes law enforcement to make sure that we're overcoming and anticipating any security needs that we have. And then also with Secretary Price over here, we're working with not only the governor's disaster medical teams, but we're also sending federal disaster medical teams in, not only to the convention center today, there's already some on site, but there's going to be multiple areas, not only for crisis counseling, but also to make sure that we're meeting access and functional needs. The access is a challenge to getting all the supplies in once the roadway systems come out. We've amassed quite the federal force to be able to support the local and state efforts. For example, the governor pulls 12,000 National Guard troops in. We're pulling units out of Fort Hood as the federal government, federal DOD forces are coming in as well. We pulled several hundred trucks and staff just from assets right here in the state of Texas, and that's how the system works. This recovery is going to be frustrating. We're going to be here with you to help you guide through it. It's going to be tough to navigate all of the programs that come available. But we're here to help. So with that, I'd like to pass it along to our friends at the Coast Guard.
Mr. President, good afternoon, sir. This is where your Coast Guard serves at its best. You've got a bias for action. We are here in the state of Texas to support the state of Texas, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, the lead federal agency. Sir, we have pulled Coast Guard men and women from across the country, capabilities, helicopters, fixed wing, response, incident management specialists, and they're on deck, sir, in Texas here getting after the task at hand. I'd be remiss, sir, to not tell you that as you look, obviously the landfall here, phase 1 was down here, we've been out, we've seen the effects here, and our local folks here, I'll come in a minute, we'll speak to you more about that. Up in Houston, we are all in with the challenge there. We brought everything to the fight. The weather for the next couple of days is going to remain challenging. We'll probably see average rainfalls for the year, 50 inches, 4 weeks in. And I don't think we know what that looks like, sir. But I can tell you, the Coast Guard, Department of Homeland Security team, with the DOD forces, National Guard. I spent Sunday and Monday with the governor at different locations. We are seamlessly lashed up with the state. We are getting better at every day. It is a problem of catastrophic proportions, sir. I don't think we've done before, but I can tell you that we are all in and we're aligned. And I'm very encouraged, sir, about how this thing is going to go forward, just in terms of cooperation. With this, sir, I'd just like to give Captain Tony Hahn a couple moments here. He's locally, give you a perspective on the flight that's been here. Yes, sir, Mr. President.
Good morning, Mr. President. Captain Tony Hahn, the Sector Commander here at Sector Corpus Christi, and also the Incident Commander for our Unified Command. Our Unified Command comprises over 150 federal, state, and local agencies, and we also bring industry partners in there so we can make sure we're covering all our bases as we get the port open. So I want to walk through a timeline of our activities that we've done over the course of Hurricane Harvey, just to let you know where we're at. So on Tuesday, the storm shifted and became a hurricane. Our job is to really assess the point and see where we need to be to get assets out of it. And that's what we started doing on Wednesday. We started making preparations. We locked down facilities. We get assets, deep draft vessels out to sea so they don't damage the port conditions. Thursday, we moved to evacuating all our forces. We push our forces out of harm's way and our people so we can come back in after the storm to help, as soon as we can. On Friday, we moved our boats and aircraft away from the storm so they could immediately respond. So now Harvey was upgraded to Category 4 hurricane. Our team was bunkered down in Robstown, Texas. We do a continuity of operations in Robstown, about 20 miles or so from here. We practiced that many times, so we're ready to do that. When Harvey made landfall, several ships that were moored in Corpus Christi broke their moorings, and mariners in distress were calling us for help. At that point, we had to wait till the parameters changed, but we sent our helicopters north, and we saved 19 mariners' lives that night. Later on Saturday morning, we began our port assessments, and the conditions weren't good for big boats on the water, but with our oil flights and among the damage, we noted a grounded drill ship at the front of the Corpus Christi channel. So that's a major challenge for us. We continued over flights to respond to search and rescue calls on Saturday, and the weather conditions wouldn't allow us to really get on the water for us to try and get the port open, but we're working on that. So Sunday, now the storm shifted to up to Houston. So we surged all our search and rescue resources out of Alice, Texas, up to Houston. And we're helping every way we can with that effort by surging resources. We're using our fixed wing assets down here to run logistics run all over the state to make sure that the operation commanders and police are doing what they need. Additionally, we brought our boats up from the south so we can start our operational activities here now that the storm's done. So Monday, we started our water operation with our partners. It's a huge emphasis for getting the port open for commerce and for all the activity we do with the port. So our partners at the Army Corps of Engineers began their surveys of the channel, checking for shoaling and obstructions, and our ACE navigation team started their evaluations of marking the water with all the buoys and the channel markers, just to make sure when we open the port it's safe. So far we've found over 180 grounded vessels. Of those, our major concern is that large drill ship that's at the mouth of the Corpus Christi Channel. Last night the tide came up, winds came out of the bands from the storm, and it actually raised itself and drifted over the other side of the channel. So salvaging that boat is a big priority for us. Additionally, we're working with the Texas General Land Office on all the pollution activities. So far, the good news is we've not seen anything major in terms of pollution response or pollution releases. So to close, we're about 1/3. We're done with our channel surveys with the Army Corps. Once we complete the survey and salvage the grounded ship, we'll be in a good position to open the port. Right now, our biggest challenge right now is potential shoaling, and that'll require dredging operations. So we're really looking at those. With that, Mr. President,
Well, I want to tell you, and I can speak for the governor because we spoke about it, we are very proud of the Coast Guard, the job they've done, with the lives they've saved. We're very, very proud of you. Thank you very much.
Mr. President, about a couple thousand rescues a day rolled up with everybody else's in this economic issue in the ports. We are in with the Border Protection Agency. We're in with the facilities owners, the pilots on the waterways. The conditions right now are not amenable to getting the ports open. We recognize that's a national priority, and we will keep that and collectively get to that right answer as soon as possible.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Mr. President, at this time, before the press pulls out, there's information that I'd like to share in regards to how citizens can get involved. So here again, it's the whole community. Neighbor helping neighbor is going to be needed in helping Texas overcome. So very quickly, if you would like to register for assistance underneath the governor's declared counties, there's 18 declared counties for individual assistance underneath the president's disaster declaration. That's disasterassistance.org. That puts in, disasterassistance.gov. I apologize. Disasterassistance.gov. That's the FEMA Individual Assistance Center system. There's also ways, if you're looking to volunteer, nvoad.org, nvoad.org. There's also within the state of Texas, onestarfoundation.org. There's also, and we'll leave it at that, or redcross.org as well. So thank you, and at this time, this concludes the press briefing.
Thank you very much.
All right, President Trump being briefed on the status of the rescue and recovery and effort in Texas. He was briefed by the Coast Guard. He was also briefed by the administrator of FEMA, Brock Long, who was there in the firehouse in Corpus Christi with him. Mr. Long said that they are still in a life-saving mission. He said he was aware of the situation at the convention center in Houston overnight, where it was about double capacity. Our Nora O'Donnell was there early this morning and reported there were some 9,000 people. Capacity was considered 5,000 who spent the night there, most of whom did not have bedding. But Mr. Long said this is not the Superdome and would not be. Let's listen to Nora.
So tell me your name.
Michelle.
Michelle.
Mm-hmm.
Where are you from in the Houston area?
Northwest side of Chitwell. Northeast side.
What's happened to your home?
Basically, the water is going in and the roof is starting to collapse.
How were you rescued?
The police, my dump truck.
You were one of the people in the dump truck. I probably saw you.
Yeah.
When you came out. How long did you have to ride in the dump truck?
Well, about an hour because it was trying to get to other people that they couldn't get to because the water was too high for the dump trucks.
Too high.
Nora O'Donnell in the convention center this morning talking with some of the people who spent the night there. Again, some 9,000 people, according to Nora's reporting, spent the night in the convention center in Houston. Capacity is 5,000. The administrator of FEMA, Brock Long, saying they are starting to move people out of there to other places where they can. But again, they're estimating that some 30,000 people, maybe more, in Houston will need shelter. I want to go back to Jamie Yuccas in Corpus Christi, where the president is right now. Jamie, it's looking a lot drier there. Of course, the hurricane made landfall a little to the north and east of Corpus Christi. What are conditions in Corpus Christi like now?
Well, that's Anthony. I wanted to point that out because obviously the conditions are much different than 200 miles to the northeast of where we're standing right now in Houston. Here in Corpus Christi, it's about 85 degrees. The sunshine is out. Now, the reason the president came to this particular fire station, and he is still inside from what we're told right now, he'll be making his way out shortly. The reason he's here is he did not want to be a distraction to any of the recovery efforts at all in this particular situation, since it is such a dire situation right now in that Houston area. As you said, the hurricane did make landfall as a Cat 4 hurricane just about 30 minutes from here to the north and east. Rockport was really the ground zero of Hurricane Harvey, and I can tell you from driving through there is lots of devastation. We don't know at this point if the president will make his way to see that firsthand, but as we were driving yesterday, I have to tell you the roads are very treacherous, and you have a giant motorcade that would have to try to make its way down to that area of Rockport, where there's still water on a number of the freeways there getting in and out of that small city of 10,000. So both the FEMA administrator, the governor, and the president deciding to come here first. They will now spend a little bit more time here, possibly seeing some of the damage in the Corpus Christi area before heading to Austin, where they will get a debrief on the state operations that are happening. I want to show you the crowds, though, that showed up for this. Now, when he shows up to a fire station like this, it's not put on a schedule. They don't let the public know that the president is going to be visiting. But I can tell you that a number of these people in the crowd are very big Trump supporters. A number of them have law enforcement here locally who are working this particular event. When they heard that the president would be here, they showed up. There's a few hundred people who showed up really within a half an hour. We just started watching people walk in. I'm still watching people walk in to try to get some picture of the president and the first lady when they heard he was coming here to Corpus Christi, Texas. Anthony.
Thanks, Jamie. Among those at this briefing the president had at the firehouse in Corpus Christi were Texas's two U.S. senators, Ted Cruz and John Cornyn. We overheard Ted Cruz telling his colleagues there that he had a very difficult time getting back into Texas, both airports being closed. I want to go now to Chip Reid at the White House. Chip, the president is talking about actually making a second trip to the region this weekend. This is his first briefing. What stood out to you in that briefing that the president attended?
Well, the president is doing his best to avoid making the mistake that George W. Bush made back in 2005 with Hurricane Katrina. President Bush, very wisely, some would say, wanted to stay out of the way, so he didn't interfere with the rescue and recovery operation, but it made him look like he was disengaged. President Trump is doing his best to make it look like he's very engaged, sent out a lot of tweets this weekend, but he is setting the bar very high. In those tweets, he talked about the wonderful coordination among all the different agencies and the great talent on the ground. And in that briefing just now, he said, we want to do this better than it's ever been done before. In 5 years, we want to look back at this and say, this is how to do it. Anytime you set the bar really high in politics or in dealing with a natural disaster, you take a risk. And the president's taking a little bit of a risk here by being so positive this early about the response.
Yes, but also obviously also aware, Chip, that when you don't respond properly, the consequences politically can be sizable. Chip, what do we know about this second possible trip that the president referred to the other day, that he might come back on Saturday because the storm, it looks like, is going to make landfall again?
That's right. This is a storm that is staying where it is, and most experts say we haven't even seen the worst of the flooding yet. So the president clearly wants to make everybody understand this is what he is focused on. So Sarah Huckabee Sanders said in a brief gaggle aboard Air Force One on the way to Texas, she of course is his press secretary, that he will be going back on Saturday. She doesn't know where exactly. It will depend on the conditions and on the weather, but he plans to go back to Texas and perhaps Louisiana too, where they are also really suffering the brunt of this. Anthony?
Yeah, we're talking about a second landfall, what it looks like about 24 hours from now at the Texas-Louisiana border, Chip. You're looking at the radar there now. In Texas, as we heard some of the folks briefing the president say, they're looking at some places at 50 inches of rainfall, which is basically a year's worth of rain over a weekend, an extraordinary number. Again, the president in Corpus Christi right now, he is deliberately kind of going around the hardest hit area where there is so much work being done. The White House did not want to interfere with the rescue efforts and the attempts to get people to safety, but they wanted to show that they were in Texas and getting a firsthand look at what's going on. So the president starting in Corpus Christi at a fire station there. He is he will be moving up to Austin later in the day. There will be much more coverage of Harvey on your local news on this CBS station and our streaming network CBSN. I'll be back later with Norah O'Donnell in Houston for a special edition of the CBS Evening News. Till then, I'm Anthony Mason, CBS News, New York.
For news 24 hours a day, go to CBSNews.com.